Breaking news, you guys are not going to believe this because it's never happened before and we could never imagine it. But guys, China banned Bitcoin. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Never even saw that coming. That's sarcasm, guys. China bans Bitcoin every 3 weeks. We're going to take a look at all the news surrounding this China Bitcoin ban, as well as a number of charts and a ton of other news. This is going to be a good one. Do not miss it. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and slam the like button with both fists because of your anger about more China FUD. Guys, as you know, I'm giving away $5,000. Subscribe to the channel. Click the link down below. But we're not going to talk about all of that right now because, my goodness, what a dump this morning on what potentially is fake or delayed news. We're going to try to parse this entire story. But anyone who is trading Bitcoin based on a theoretical Chinese ban in 2021 deserves to have no Bitcoin. They deserve to have no Bitcoin. This is absolutely absurd at this point. We've literally seen them ban all of miners migrating out of the country. We know that China does not want anything to do with Bitcoin, but yet an announcement today has sent price down over 5% in a matter of hours, right when Bitcoin was coincidentally rallying beautifully. I mean, the headline might as well read, China bans fun. China bans happiness. United States bans drinking water. United States bans drinking air. United States bans breathing asbestos through an inhaler while wearing a formaldehyde hat and drinking other chlorine from your pool. We know these things are already banned. Nobody's doing these things. It's absolutely ridiculous. I wrote a song about it. Do you remember the 24th night of September? China proved that they were just pretenders. Now we're chasing the FUD away. Guys, this is stupid. This is stupid. This news was already basically reported in May. And what's craziest about the news at this exact moment is it didn't even happen today. The media reported it. Some are saying it was from September 15th. Some saying it was from September 3rd, but this did not even happen today. But listen, let's dive into actually what the news said so that I don't have to give you all of the theoreticals. Here you go. This is on CoinDesk. China orders renewed crackdown on crypto mining and trading. China's top regulators are not done with crypto. Come on, man. I mean, this is ridiculous. Doesn't this make you think of this? This makes me think of this.
What is dead may never die.
What is dead may never die.
Guys, what is dead may never die. That was Game of Thrones. How can you ban something that you've already banned 15 times? It's so redundant. It's insane. But let's see what they're actually saying about trading here. The notice banned banks and other financial institutions from offering services related to crypto. This already happened in May, guys. This is a reiteration of old news. Staff for overseas headquartered exchanges, even those working in tech support, well, that's brutal, will be investigated for knowingly participating in the crypto industry. Crypto exchanges were banished from China in 2017. This has to do with a few employees who are still working in mainland China for exchanges, but has nothing to do with a ban. The statement also called for increased censorship of information related to virtual currencies. Oh, wow. Guys, they're going to censor something in China. We should probably sell our Bitcoin. The regulators said they want to establish a mechanism for early warning and stopping hype in crypto trading and mining activities. The notice called on police to severely crack down on illegal activities facilitated by crypto, including money laundering and gambling. Okay, so they've reiterated a May ruling. They've reiterated a 2017 ruling. And China, who has tried to ban the internet and has banned basically every technological innovation from every country in history, wants to crack down on information about cryptocurrency. That is the entirety of this story. That's the reason people are dumping their Bitcoin and calling this a China ban. This is not news. It's once again media hype surrounding something that's basically a non-event. And to add to that, guys, this is coming from Cointelegraph. So I don't know what's true at this point. Do you? Old FUD, new Bitcoin price dip. Weeks old China crypto ban sparks Bitcoin price drop to 42K. Old news suddenly gets picked up on social media, sparking an instant crypto price crash. This is from, this is where I said, This is from Big Mac Dow. Listen, I don't know if this source is correct. Everybody's quoting it. I certainly don't read Chinese. But PBOC's announcement about banned crypto got widespread today was announced on September 15th, but got posted online today. The market already reacted on this regulatory FUD. There's been some absolutely amazing takes about this, of course. This is one of my favorites. That's a good take. That's a good take. Of course, we had already what was Dead Never Die. Michael Saylor, nothing has created more wealth in the past decade than technologies banned in China. That's true of technologies banned in China. And even as Bobby Lee tweeted today, I don't have that tweet pulled up, but I did retweet it. September 2017 was this huge exchange ban. That was a real problem. And what happened after September of 2017? Bitcoin absolutely mooned. Every single September, we get China FUD, something about a ban, and then every fall, we see Bitcoin rise. Here's another great take from Pentoshi. China bans Bitcoin, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. You are here, 22, 23, 24, 25. Absolutely accurate. We know that they're going to continue to do this every single year. They're going to also continue to ban things like Twitter and Google and Facebook because China wants to keep the walls closed. They don't want the money leaving the country. They don't want information coming into the country. That is how this works. This is complete FUD and the reason that I bought more Bitcoin today on the drop. Do I think this is necessarily the bottom? I'm not sure. We're going to take a look at the chart right now, but it does not worry me at all. Anytime I see an irrational dip on any asset that I want to own long-term, I buy some. So I bought Bitcoin right at 42,000. Now, this next story is pretty interesting because holy timing. Bitcoin likely to rally after September options expiry Deribit poll. Deribit is the world's largest crypto exchange, accounting for more than 80% of global interest. But what's interesting is this story, they had 50% of the people who voted said up, only about 21% said it was would nuke. But what's interesting here, Deribit expiration was about 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 a.m. UTC, I believe, and we saw what happened. It absolutely nuked. So once again, they couldn't have predicted this China news, but the crowd tends to be wrong. We do generally see price go up after an expiration. This happened in coordination with the China news, so of course we have seen the drop. But let's take a look at the charts. And by the way, if you were here yesterday, I was telling you, this is a really, really nice rally. I'm liking it, but the volume is not that high. It did start to increase yesterday after the stream. The volume is not that high, and it looked like a normal reactionary bounce, and we still were not out of the woods by any stretch. So I still kind of feel that way in general about it, but let's take a look here. This is the weekly chart. 42K. 42K is the line. It was nice when we were trading up here earlier this morning, of course, before the China news came out and the drop. But this is still the key level that we want to see hold on the weekly. It was lost on the daily. Price traded back above it, but we really want to see it hold on the weekly. To me, this is key. This is the area that has been resistance for most of the year, or at least half, right? An entire month here after it rallied to 42K, and then 3 months here before we finally broke above 42K. Now we're coming back for the very first retest as support. A retest as support is a bullish thing. It is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing unless it fails, but you want to see key levels of resistance retested as support successfully. If that takes China FUD or whatever happened in the last few days on the drop, that's fine. It doesn't matter why it happens. It just matters that it happens and it's successful. We're back at 41,700 right now. We want to see the weekly close the end of Sunday. Listen, if this dip was because of China and we were rallying, people are going to digest that this is not major news and we should see price continue up. You can see it here on the daily. I talked about yesterday. We only had a bounce at that point up to the 50%, 44,203, right? That's a normal reaction. You get this big dip, it bounces immediately 50%. Well, now it retraced right up to about the golden pocket. Not surprising. And the China news hit. I'm confident this would have been headed up if not for this absolute FUD storm. Of course, that whether people actually sold because of the China news, whether it was bots, algorithms, whether a whale used it as an opportunity to trigger liquidations, I have no idea. But this is clearly happening on that news. Once again, we want to see the daily ideally also close around 42,000 if possible. Now, what's interesting to me, I want to note going to go ahead and draw this line because I believe it's here on the 4, 6, and 12. You know that I love a good RSI divergence. We never got it here on the dip, but we did dip to the lowest RSI point in a year on the 4-hour. Well, if we get any more drop, anything below 40,596, something like this, very likely we will have a massive bullish divergence with RSI, which would signal me to even get longer on Bitcoin. It would be very surprising, possible, very surprising though to see RSI end up below here, even if price dips further, unless we're seeing a major drop of, $5, 6, 7, $10,000. Let's look at it on the 6-hour. Same idea, right? If it gets below 40,596, we're going to have a big bullish divergence. Even the 12-hour, guys. If it drops below there, we'll have a major bullish divergence. I don't know about the daily. I haven't looked. Same idea. Same idea on the daily. If it drops below this level right here, around 40,667 on the daily, probably get a major bullish divergence. That is definitely worth watching. And moving on, this is really interesting. Ethereum futures more popular among major investors than Bitcoin, JP Morgan. Weak demand for the market's leading cryptocurrency as institutional investors turning their attentions to Ethereum, says the investment bank. If only there was a person on the planet who for the last year had been screaming that Ethereum was probably a more upside trade than Bitcoin. What has two thumbs and has been saying that? This guy, right? Bitcoin is in backwardation at the moment, actually only by about 1%, but that means that futures are trading at a lower price than the current volume, meaning that people expect price to go down in the future. Ethereum is trading in contango, meaning that futures price is higher, meaning a higher expectation. Also, we're seeing volume going down on the CME on Bitcoin futures and rising on Ethereum on Bitcoin futures. That's where a lot of American institutions are trading Bitcoin. But let it be known, 85% of futures volume is on Deribit, not on the CME. The CME, although it's where American institutions are trading, is very, very small part of this market. But let's take a look at the Ethereum chart because we know it got wrecked by China too. Got wrecked by China too. You got wrecked. That's not really a song. Once again, though, we were already here, right? Right at the EQ of this channel. Nothing has changed as another buying opportunity probably should be targeting the top of this channel, 0.0824. Nothing has changed as a test of support and a move up. That's what you are looking for when you flip the EQ to support. That's the EQ, is this dashed line that's the middle of the channel. We had this wedge. I pointed it out. This was a buy opportunity I talked about all the way up to here, almost to the target, back for another shot. If you're really being conservative and want to be safe, you draw a line like this. Say if we break that line, we're headed back up. Ethereum on the USD pair, which I know is what you guys are probably trading it on, still sort of in this descending channel. Again, you don't want to really trade it till you get that confirmation, that break. That's why I drew this. I wasn't drawing this to say this is what's going to happen. I was drawing this to say this is where you would safely enter. And just like Bitcoin, we are now back at the top sort of the channel. In Bitcoin, I didn't show it, but that's about 43K, that trading range. So 42 is a key level, but 43 is also really important on the Bitcoin chart because we want to get back above that and be out of the range that we were in from May all the way through August. Next piece of news, crypto market starting to knock on the doors of big bond funds. TCW's Brian Whalen seeing more inquiries about crypto lending, predicts bond funds will get more exposure to crypto that way. So this is really interesting. Obviously, we know that there's tremendous demand by retail for crypto loans. Platforms like BlockFi, Celsius, etc., all offering loans. Of course, they have a very aggressive loan to value ratio. You might have to park $1 million to get a $500,000 or $300,000 loan with lower interest, and the interest rates are generally high. Well, a lot of people, like myself, want to be able to go to your normal bank and get a loan just like you would on any other asset with a really low interest rate. Who wouldn't want that? As you know, I've talked about this. Michael Saylor talked about this on my podcast. The way to retain your wealth and to avoid paying a whole lot of taxes is to avoid selling things and take low interest loans against them. If you have a piece of property, if you have anything like that, you take a loan, very low, and then you park your money almost anywhere. It earns more. Park in USDC on any of these platforms, it earns more than the interest rate. It's basically free money, and you never take the taxable transaction of selling. Well, people want that. But what's interesting here is he's saying the market is starting to knock on the doors of big institutions, even in the bond world. I mean, that's as conservative and boring as it gets. What I found has crept our way is incoming inquiries about the question of lending against crypto. When institutions want this, they're probably going to get it. We will eventually see banks using Bitcoin and crypto as collateral, but interesting. This would be a huge opportunity for institutions that are holding their coins to earn yield and take loans against those coins. But Crypto lender Celsius told to stop offering accounts in Kentucky. No surprises here because we saw the same thing with BlockFi, and it's effectively the same product. We've seen quite a few states doing this now. I don't have the list right here. Oh, Texas, Alabama, and New Jersey already. Same ones that are going after BlockFi first. We're seeing state-to-state regulation and crackdown on the lending products, and we've already seen the SEC tell Coinbase that they can't offer this product. So I think we know that some sort of crackdown or regulation is coming in this space. Sad for all of us who are using these lend products and getting mad money doing it in interest up to 10%, 12%, some places 15% a year. Crypto trading now official in Dubai following regulators' agreement. Dubai is better than, I don't know which way you're looking, China. Dubai better. Dubai authorities have joined forces to make it legal to issue and trade cryptocurrencies in the DWTCA free zone. Just another case of someone having reasonable regulation for a change. This means that now everyone who's living in Dubai and going there to punch each other in the face or whatever is happening in the crypto community, because apparently there's going to be people fighting in Dubai. Well, now it's legal to trade and to issue cryptocurrencies in Dubai. This is a really cool story. I actually met with these guys before they even launched, and they were like, you need to go mine this coin. You got to go do it. You got to buy stacks and do the thing. And I was like, I should have done it. It's a 10x. MiamiCoin going mainstream faster than Bitcoin, Mayor Suarez says. It could have wide use and applicability, the mayor says, of the token created by private actors for a city's benefit. If you guys haven't seen this, it's City Coins is the umbrella company, but MiamiCoin is the first one. You mine it using stacks. It's all based on Bitcoin, and they've donated. Basically, they've earned the money for the city. The city took it. It was $2 or $3 million, now worth almost $7 million to the municipality. Really a cool story, obviously gaining the support of Suarez. What city would not want free money to support their economy? This can be used for infrastructure, literally anything that Miami wants to use the money for. $7 million, assuming, of course, that they actually sell it. This is very bullish and interesting product. One you guys should definitely take a look at. I don't hold it. I literally knew about it in advance, could have mined it, and did not take the opportunity like a moron, but it went up about 10x in that couple of months since that happened. This story's nuts. Chaotic Time Magazine NFT launch sends gas fees spiraling. Time President Keith Grossman admits the rollout was not ideal. So if you guys missed this story, Time Magazine had announced they were doing an NFT collection, 4,676 tokens tied to digital artworks, each priced at 0.1 ETH, around $310. Okay, well, they were gone in minutes, but they made Ethereum gas fees go up like triple. This is the craziest part, right? But the sale also clogged the Ethereum blockchain, sending fees to astronomical highs. Buyers spent almost 4 times as much on transactions fees as they did on the NFTs themselves, according to a data tracker from an analyst called Banterlytics. One address paid $70,000 for 10 of Time's NFTs because of the gas fees, not because of the price of the NFT. Paid $70,000 basically extra dollars to buy these NFTs because of the gas fees. We all know that Ethereum needs improvements, that layer 2s are the answers for now, unless Ethereum 2.0 comes, and that there's a lot of layer 1 blockchains that are certainly knocking on the door aggressively to take some of that market share from Ethereum. But wow, what a shit show of a rollout, and showing that people are just FOMOing in no matter the cost. Now, guys, this was the big story of yesterday, but I've talked about it a lot already, so I didn't want to put it too far ahead. I wanted to talk about China. I talked about this a lot in the newsletter today. Twitter to add Bitcoin Lightning tips, NFT authentication. Tipping, including with Bitcoin, will be live in iOS immediately. I'm sure you all saw the video of Jack Mallers, the CEO of Strike. He basically had his friend on Zoom in San Salvador, El Salvador. He was in Chicago. He said, I'm going to use this tip button. I'm going to send him $10. It opened his Moon wallet, non-custodial wallet, opened his Moon wallet. He was able to send the guy $10 instantaneously through Twitter with no fees. As he said, that feature accidentally basically becomes free remittances using Bitcoin in real time anywhere in the world. This is huge. We know that Jack Dorsey has been pushing for something like this for a long time, but to see it in action is pretty crazy. What I'm still trying to get clarity on, though, is people have said it's happening through the Strike API. So when you send Bitcoin, it is received as dollars. Then you need to buy Bitcoin again if you want it. That could be a bit complex for Americans, certainly with the tax code, but still incredible that you can send someone Bitcoin, tip them with Bitcoin. Amazing for all the incredible creators in this space who do not have a big audience, but create incredible content, share trades, all of those things for their communities to be able to tip them. I absolutely love that. And I think that's, what was kind of driving the news yesterday, the price up before obviously this China FUD struck it back down. But this is one of the biggest social networks in the world. And you're combining it with Bitcoin, which is the biggest free monetary network in the world, and allowing for free transactions instantaneously. You guys have to understand the gravity of that. U.S. House passes National Defense Act containing crypto provision, awaits Senate approval. The provision included in the defense bill signals a chance it could soon pass into law. So what does this mean? Very simply, and this is actually probably a very good thing. If this passes, this provision, it says that the CFTC and the SEC need to immediately, within like 60 days or something, I can find the amount, I'm not exactly sure, 90 days of the bill's passage, they have to determine who is regulating what, which means that the Congress would have to form a committee of the CFTC and the SEC. They would actually have to come together and be forced to put their heads together, come up with sensible regulation, and decide which agency has authority over which coins and which parts of the industry. This would massively fast-track us getting regulatory clarity. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. Regulation is coming, though. The faster it happens and the faster we can react, I believe, the better. So this is interesting. Crypto exchange FTX signed sponsorship deal with F1 team Mercedes AMG Petronas. They can sponsor my car. I want that Sam Bankman-Fried money. Don't y'all want his money? Send me some cash, SBF. I'll put a FTX sign on the side of my house, on the side of my car. I will put it on the face of my children. I'll put it on the face of my children. FTX is sponsoring everything. This is obviously just one more example. We know Tom Brady, Major League Baseball, the Miami Heat arena, all of these things. They're clearly going to continue doing this, penetrating every single avenue in the entire world with FTX branding. I got one last altcoin here thing. 3 reasons why Avalanche is up by 800% in 2 months. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Avalanche. I've talked ad nauseum about them and other layer ones across media for weeks and weeks and weeks now. We've seen them all going to new highs. And the reason is because of the NFT story I told you about time, right? Ethereum's slow. Ethereum's having problems. These blockchains solve a lot of those problems. As you know, I believe we will live in an interoperable world. Each blockchain will find its niche and then they'll work together. There won't be an Ethereum killer and one chain will not rule them all. And I love Avalanche's value proposition. I've become friends with the CEO, with John and with Emin. I've had them on the podcast 3 times because they're really creating a blockchain where other people and companies can go create their own blockchains, either public or private, and benefit from what Avalanche has to offer. But the reason here, obviously, is their partnerships. They've announced huge partnerships with Aave, I believe Sushi, Benki. Those have happened. TVL Explosion. People are really using it. They're locking their money on this chain. And the 230 million private sale, which we've talked about, of course, before. They had an absolutely huge fundraise, 230 million, where they sold the coins to raise that money to invest in their infrastructure and their company. You gotta love it. AVAX here on the USDT barely moving on the dip and pumping back right now. This was the previous all-time high. This was the retest. I talked about it. Yeah, it went a little deeper. Gotta love it. Look at this volume. This is a real move. And finally, I can't avoid talking about the Dogfather, Cosmo de Medici, Smokemo de Blizzanti, whatever I called him yesterday. Snoop Dogg is selling 1,000 NFT passes for a private Ethereum metaverse party. I am going to find a way to DJ this party in the metaverse. I think you can't smoke virtual weed, so you're probably going to have to bring your own. But yet again, Snoop clearly heavily committed to metaverse NFTs, to the crypto space. Want to party with Snoop in the metaverse? The newly revealed NFT collector is readying a bash within the sandbox. You guys might not know this, but one of the biggest moments probably of my entire life, South by Southwest. Now I'm struggling to remember the year, probably 2015. I released a project called the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was one of my many remix projects. And so we threw a party at South by Southwest in Austin. The room only fit 300 people. And it was me playing and Snoop and Wiz Khalifa. And Lady Gaga was there, Diddy was there, Talib Kweli, and I hung out and partied with Snoop and these dudes in the little VIP room and played a show with them for 230 people. And then Snoop was randomly on my JetBlue flight home the next day. Pretty crazy. Snoop is the man. That was definitely a highlight of my life. I support anything that the Dogfather does. This dude is my favorite person. pretty much ever. Ooh, that's a good comment. Snoop Doge. He should be all in on Doge just to have that character. Snoop Doge Doge. Snoop Doge. Paulie, you're saying why buy now? The reason for me is because I'm a long-term investor and I like to buy any dip. That's why. Because I don't know if this is going to go to 30. I don't know if it's going to go to 35. I don't know if it's going to go to 40, but I know that this is fake news and that's why price is down. So if you get the opportunity to buy something that's down for an artificial reason, you generally do it. That was my favorite trade on Tesla. If you guys remember, you may not, I didn't have as big of a following back then, but I was screaming to buy Tesla at 180 because it was one of those things where people were saying it's going to zero. The company is going to get crushed. The more FUD you get on something that doesn't fundamentally change anything about the asset, the more you should consider buying it. I mean, where's Bitcoin now? Yeah, not even looking. Where are we at? Back to 42,000, 41,892. So guys, the reason I have to jump and cut this right now is because I'm going on Crypto Banter right now. I'm going to look at over here. Yeah, and I might be on there for a long time. I'm going on Crypto Banter right after this. I have a feeling we're going to talk about a lot of these same things. And I also have my normal show at 1:30 p.m. EDT, Bullish on Bitcoin. That's going to be awesome. We're going to have some very, very special guests. So stay tuned for that, guys. I just want to finalize this by saying, listen, China is not an issue anymore. China is not an issue anymore. The biggest thing China could have ever done to the industry was to ban mining. And that was a good thing. That was a good thing for the industry because the mining was at risk of being centralized in a country that could have taken over the mining. The worst thing China ever did for their own economy was ban Bitcoin. The best thing that China ever did for Bitcoin was ban Bitcoin mining. We should actually encourage this at this point. It's helping the industry, and this is complete FUD. Do not get fooled by it. And guys, again, I'm going on Crypto Banter now, and I will be live again here at 1:30 p.m. EDT. Don't get fooled by the FUD. Peace.
That's dope.